my stream. So, I got some time on my hands. I'm gonna probably do a couple of videos maybe tonight. Definitely on the weekend, I'm gonna be doing some videos. I don't got nothing planned this weekend, not that I know of. But I have to check my schedule and see do I got anything planned. But with that being said, so let's just talk about this. So, Bill has been making his rounds, talking about the current situation with Shakur Stevenson. And quite a few people have talked about Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, um, at the end of the day, no matter how much people try to cape for him and truly been very, because basically the pressure is weighing on him to take the fight with Devin Haney. I think Shakur Stevenson was surprised that Devin Haney called his bluff and said, "Okay, we can fight at 144." And then, Shakur Stevenson is still hesitant to say, "Okay, we got a deal." Now it's something else. And then he's posting pictures of scales and all that stuff. So I decided to post a picture of him with a scale. Shakur gets caught, contradicting himself a lot. Now he said he would go up to 154 to fight Conor Ben. Not only did he say he would go up, he said he would stop him. He said he would fight Ryan Garcia at the full 147. But all of a sudden, now it has to be these stipulations and talking about, a rehydration and all this stuff. And he started out, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I heard Bernie talk about it, and I know Bernie knows Shakur Stevenson, but I have to call Cap with Bernie, because real talk. Because my thing is, if Terrence Crawford once again can jump up 2 weight classes and fight Canelo and beat him. Now keep in mind when they was asking Shakur Stevenson about, about Terrence Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes, he said skills pay the bills. Okay, shouldn't that be the same, mentality you should have going into a fight with Devin Haney? Be like, well, I don't care how much he weighs, I can beat him. Now all of a sudden they got to be stipulations. And this is the problem that I have with a lot of these so-called black boxers. They love to change the narrative and stuff. Just like you had Keyshawn, cooning it up, and a few other people cooning it up for, crying, lying Ryan Garcia, where they was making excuses for him, like, Schofield, justifying him cheating against Devin Haney. And he flat out cheated, talking about skill. But then when they talked about fighting Ryan Garcia, Keyshawn turned, well, I got to make sure Ryan is on the up and up. And that's why, I started to, give Keyshawn like the people's eyebrow and side eye him. Thing is with Keyshawn, which I'm going to talk about how BLG checked him, how he changed his whole. And I need to explain something to you YNs. Well, I don't even like using that terminology to you youngsters. I really don't like referring to y'all as YNs, but the thing is, you have to understand something. Uh, Dialogue is different from when me and Bill was coming up versus how y'all talk to people. And the thing is, y'all too disrespectful towards us OGs, because some of us OGs stay ready and we don't have to get ready. We always prepared. But, Shakur is just making excuse after excuse. Nah, he just tweeting it. He can't be found. What happened was Shakur didn't think Devin was gonna call his bluff. So now him and Jay Prince trying to figure out how to get out of this. And at the end of the day, it's really no way out of this. I would respect Shakur Stevenson if he said, "Hey, you know what? I don't want the fight." Instead of him trying to listen, Devin is the A side. And Devin then conceded way too many, concessions to Shakur Stevenson. I don't want to hear this stuff. I don't want to hear none of this stuff. And I'm keeping it 100. I don't want to hear nothing about no rehydration. Because like I said, I heard Bernie the Boxer talking about that. Nah, fuck that. Devin agreed to come down to 144 like he did with Jose Ramirez. Okay? At the end of the day, that's all you get. And I hope you don't expect it to be a title shot. And then here's the thing. They're offering Shakur Stevenson. I know the numbers. They offering Shakur Stevenson between 15 and $20 million for this fight. And I'm gonna say this again, and let me once again, I know more than what I'm saying. But I'm gonna reveal this little information. The powers that be really don't want Keyshawn. They feel that Devin and Shakur would do good numbers, which I think it would. It's a more high profile fight. Like I said, Bud set the standards. If Bud can go up 2 weight classes, then and then here's the thing. I'm gonna get to Keyshawn in a separate video. I mean, $20 million ain't enough to make you get, and this is the problem that a lot of people have with guys like Shakur Stevenson. These dudes don't want to take no chances no more. These dudes act like a loss just ends their career and stuff. Now I heard some Latino dude, some Mexican dude talking about that Floyd messed it up for fighters and all that stuff. Like somebody care what he think. Because here's the thing, you are elevated. Your greatness is evaluated if you are a non-black, how you do versus black fighters. We are the measuring stick. So no, Mexicans do not run boxing. It's always been centered around black fighters, all the way going back to Jack Johnson. So stop the cap. So Shakur just stuck between a rock and a hard place. And like I said, his apologists can only defend him so much because this is what he asked for. This dude always contradicts himself. You see now all of a sudden mad at him. And I'm gonna say this about Shakur Stevenson. I don't want to get too personal with him, but to a certain degree, this is the signs of what happens when you are not raised around men, when you don't have a male role model, a constant real male role model. Now his grandfather was his grandfather, and that's cool, but it's different between a grandfather and a father. You feel more comfortable when you had your biological father around, or at least at least some form of father figure. You know, and he shows how emotional he gets because he goes off the hinge sometimes. Then he goes off, he blames the media and all this kind of stuff. So, and attacks us when it's him. No, dude, this is your decision. This is on you. You were and then you sit up there and tell Devin that he need to stop trying to negotiate through the media. Devin don't be trying to negotiate, that be y'all. And this is what I mean by this dude constantly contradicts himself. I'm like, damn. Well, the reason why the Latinos said that because they just mad because no Mexican was ever able to beat Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, I said it. No matter who they sent to try to get rid of Floyd, it just couldn't work. Floyd would always find a way. Floyd knew for the most part he was in his career and his was in more danger fighting the brother than it would be the other. And Floyd knew that and he capitalized off of it. But now to Floyd's doing, look what Floyd is going through. Multiple lawsuits. Floyd got multiple lawsuits. He got the law coming after him, and then Floyd still trying to fake it till you make it look. Floyd, stop it. Stop it. I'm gonna talk about that I'm gonna talk about that in the video. See, Keyshawn gotta understand there's certain dialogue you gotta use towards people in me and Bill's age range. And Keyshawn walked it back. Well, what let me read it. Yeah. And Najee The problem I had with Najee need to let them talk. He kept cutting Bill off, and he came across more as a fanboy than he did an interviewer. And we get caught up every once in a while, but I like Najee. I met Najee and I spoke to him off cameras, but he kind of blew the interview a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Well, okay, if he help me understand something. If you suppose they got the best of Devin and sparring, but then what's the problem then? What's the problem? 3 years ago after the Lomachenko fight, when you said that Devin lost to Lomachenko and he didn't, I watched that fight. I watched that fight a couple of days ago on Tubi. On the ESPN channel. Devin clearly won that fight. It was the biased broadcasting, because keep in mind, Devin was a temporary uh, he was a temporary top ranked fighter. It was only for fights, so he still was considered an outsider. He had to sign a 3-fight deal with Top Rank. Okay, so you have to understand, and people keep forgetting I was there. The media people, the media people thought Devin won. Like I said, Lomachenko had two good rounds. He had a good 10th and 11th round, and Devin closed the show. And all of a sudden, this is what they do. Just like they changed the rules on self-defense for Carmelo Anthony, they tried to change the rule on the championship fight. The champion always get the close rounds. But they tried to change the rules, and we all know that they was perpetrating the fraud, trying to parade Lomachenko as the fraudulent number one pound for pound. Yeah, don't mess with me. And then keep in mind, y'all, quiet as kept. Devin either fractured or he broke one of Lomachenko's ribs. Lomachenko had to go to the hospital. That is documented. Devin sent Lomachenko to the hospital. So stop the cap. The only person that was telling the truth was, out of all people, Dan Rayfield. Well, I thought Devin edged him. So, and a few other people. And I saw this Asian guy. He said, and Devin won that fight. And then keep in mind, if y'all watch my post-fight interview, because I was at that fight, I covered that fight. Lomachenko even admitted that he thought he could have did more to win that fight, to secure that fight. So it is what it is. So when Shakur jumped in the ring, Shakur was capping. Shakur made excuses 3 years ago when he had the opportunity. I don't want to take 20. I don't want to take 25%. I know my worth and all that kind of stuff. So he came up with his excuse not to take that fight back then. So now he didn't came up with his excuse. So Shakur just be capping. He a front runner. He a front runner. And now people starting to see that he a front runner. All that's gonna happen to Nia. What's gonna happen is, if they can't now, all that's gonna happen is, if they can't get Shakur to sign, to find his pen and sign the contract, they're gonna go to Keyshawn. Now, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna make a prediction. The same thing that Keyshawn using, talking about what you're scared of, and everybody knows that. And I'm just gonna say this, and I know I'm a journalist and a media person, but Core been a real goofy. And Keyshawn. Keyshawn been a goofy and Shakur been a goofy, but Keyshawn, over the last year, some change, he been acting like a real goofy. It's very disappointing how Keyshawn then basically made himself, to a certain degree, unlikable, because he disingenuous, and then he be pandering too much, trying to gain a certain type of fan base that he don't need. And then he all over the place. Now, what's gonna happen is, now keep in mind, they haven't mandated it. They have till August to make a fight with Keyshawn. And Keyshawn really hoping that they vacate so he can fight for the belt. He really, and I could tell by how Keyshawn talk, he ain't really sure of himself. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the fight with Keyshawn and then Keyshawn resorts to his regular antics, intentionally doesn't make weight and all this stuff. And I already talked to Bill. I'm gonna tell you right now, I already talked to Bill, and I'm telling y'all right now, Keyshawn gonna have some stipulations, and Keyshawn ain't gonna pull no Brian Garcia. And I can promise you, when Devin fight Keyshawn and Devin beat his ass, his excuse gonna be like, well, I only had 15, 16 fights in, I wasn't really ready. That's gonna be the same. And then the fake bandwagon Keyshawn fans, that's, well, Keyshawn wasn't ready. Now keep in mind, remember what Tim Bradley was saying? Oh man, Devin going to sleep. Devin going to sleep. Devin going to sleep. Devin going to sleep. And then Devin beat and listen, Brian Norman, that's my homie, but I gotta keep it 100. Devin, he whooped on Brian Norman. He whooped on Brian Norman Jr. And Keyshawn gonna get the same. Devin gonna use Keyshawn's aggression against him, and he gonna set some traps for him. And Keyshawn gonna fall right into it because I could tell. See, here's the thing. Do you see Devin Haney doing skits and all that kind of stuff? Devin is really serious about the boxing thing. You don't see Devin playing and joking around and Keyshawn doing these goofy ass skits, talking about like who ducking Keyshawn Davis though, for real. I walked up to his brother. Kelvin, and I said, "Tell your brother to come here," because I was gonna try to get an interview with him in Houston. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Keyshawn gonna fight wherever Bill tell him to fight at. And I'm gonna tell you right now, we trying to get that fight. We gonna try to get that fight to either Oakland or San Francisco. Keyshawn gonna bring his ass to the Bay and get his ass beat in the Bay. That I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do that video later on. It's coming. So for all y'all that's listening to this stream, go to Bill Haney's social media, go to his Instagram, go to his Twitter, and tell Bill to make Keyshawn fighting in the Bay. Devin ain't got to fight nowhere. Keyshawn ain't in no position to ask for anything. The way he conducted himself. So Keyshawn gonna be fighting in the Bay. Worst case scenario for him, the ATL or Las Vegas. And in Las Vegas, it's still gonna be primarily a Devin Haney crowd. But we trying to get him to the Bay Area. We trying to get him to Oakland or San Francisco so he can get his ass beat in San Francisco or Oakland. And then Keyshawn, to a certain degree, he started with, and he started to look at Shakur funny too. And don't be surprised if Keyshawn takes the fight instead of Shakur and he get his ass beat and he starts saying that Shakur set him up. Well, I think to a certain degree, Keyshawn is starting to see that. Because you see how he was talking, he got caught. He had to catch himself because he almost said something. So they trying to figure out how they can get around this, but there won't be no getting around this. My thing is, oh yeah, by the way, you guys, I'm gonna drop a little now I haven't confirmed this yet, but I'm making the phone calls now. I've talked to a couple of other people, so it's looking like in all likelihood the promotional puzzle is about to be completed. because it looks like the PBC is going to sign a deal with the zone. So this is what I've been hearing. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it hasn't been like basically um shot down. But it looked like the PBC is headed to the zone, and once that happens, then it ain't gonna be no more excuses now why fights can't get made. And keep in mind, you guys, the PBC, um, the Amazon deal ain't they basically funding their own fights. It's basically just distributing. Now they would have an actual deal. They would have an actual deal with the zone. And keep in mind, the zone has that deal with TNT. Keep in mind, the Abdullah Mason fight is going to be on the zones. It's going to be available via streaming, and you'll be able to watch it on TNT. So it's basically gonna be picked. Now, I'm not gonna lie, they got some fights coming up that I don't think is pay-per-view worthy. I don't think the Anthony Joshua fight should be on pay-per-view. And Canelo versus Billy is gonna be on pay-per-view. Okay, Boots versus Xander. Okay, I get it. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch that fight because probably I got to cover a fight in Sacramento. I got to see what's going on. I might have to be dipping in and out and stuff, but it'll be available. If you have Tubi, the Zone has a channel on Tubi. You'll be able to see the fight eventually. Like within 2 weeks, they'll show the fight, so you'll be able to catch it. And then the Zone, what they trying to do, the Zone, basically, if they can land the PBC, um, because the Zone want to have fights every week. That's their goal, to have a card every week. So that's the idea. But yeah, it's looking like the PBC is headed. So you heard it from me first. I'm pretty accurate. So we'll see. But yeah, getting to Shakur, it's just a bad look for Shakur. And everybody knows I was a big Shakur Stevenson supporter. I was a big fan of Shakur Stevenson. But now it's just looking to the point to where he might not be who he says he is. Cause he just be moving funny and stuff. He just be moving funny. I mean, he beat. I mean, really, if you look at it, I mean, listen, he didn't beat some good dudes, but I'm just saying some decent dudes. But what I'm saying is, once again, why can't we get the Tank? Why can't we get the Tank fight now? I'm gonna tell you right now. Um, Allegedly, what's going on with Tank and Floyd Schofield? The Schofields really want this fight. Now, whether I think they'll win this fight, that's a different story. But Tank appears to be asking for too much money. Now, for the people that keep saying that Devin is ducking Ryan Garcia, and I'm gonna tell you, some of you niggas is just sad, man. Some of y'all be buck dancing. I feel like, man, we living in the 1920s with some of you niggas, how y'all be buck dancing. Y'all really be on that Mr. Cooper good white folk shit. And it's sad. This gotta be said. This gotta be said, man. Some of y'all like, I don't know. Looking real shaky. Listen, do you know how many Shakur Stevenson fights I didn't went to? I done interviewed him quite a few times, but man, at the end of the day, you got to keep it a buck. He looking weak right now. He on like Shakur, man. Shakur then went full blown Richard Pryor. I'm talking about Shakur looking like Richard Pryor, and R.I.P. to the great Richard Pryor. I'm talking about Richard Pryor, the actor. And for those who don't know, y'all gotta remember, I'm a lot older than a lot of y'all that watch my channel. For those who don't know, there was this thing about Richard Pryor. If you watch a lot of Richard Pryor movies, and Damon Wayans did a skit, you can Google it. Richard Pryor used to be scared of every goddamn thing. I mean, he used to be, Richard Pryor used to be scared. I'm serious. Go look at Richard. You can Google. If you think I'm lying, just Google Richard Pryor. Look at and that's who Shakur acting like. He act shit. I called him shit. Shit. Yeah, we gonna start calling him Shakur Pryor. But that's where the Richard Pryor reference comes, because Richard Pryor used to be scared of every goddamn thing. Yeah, Shakur. No, I'm serious. Go look at that skit where Damon Wayans was did a skit where he was emulating Richard Pryor. It's funny as hell too. And that's exactly how Richard Pryor be. I'm talking about that nigga used to be scared of every goddamn thing. Well, what's gonna happen, though, boy? He gonna get mad at me. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. He gonna see me at a fight. The next fight that I'm covering is gonna be, in all likelihood, it's gonna be Roach. Roach and Zepeda. If Shakur shows up, this is what he gonna do. He's not gonna talk to me. Shakur call himself sometimes putting media people on punishment. And I'm gonna be honest with you, for real, man. It's disappointing to see how some of these brothers conduct themselves and shit. They gotta understand, man. We journalists, we writers, this is what we supposed to do. We can't always sit up there and just be, it's all good in the hood. Because then at the same time, if we gonna do that, then when we ask for access, then they don't want to give us access. So it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't sit up there and expect us to, quote unquote, protect y'all or turn a blind eye, but then at the same time, you don't want to talk to us. Oh man, I get out. Nah, I just seen you talk to so and so. I seen you talk to this person. I seen you talk to that person. And that's the problem that a lot of us black media have with a lot of black fighters. Like I said, they will talk to everybody but us. But then at the same time, they want us to look out for them and don't criticize them and turn a blind eye to anything they do. Nah, it don't work like that. Not gonna do it. And that's what they do this to. They do this all the time. So ask yourself this. And the PBC is known. For those who don't know, the PBC then banned me. They banned a couple of other people, and I got a phone call from somebody. It was confirmed, and they've been saying the same thing about the PBC, how they act funny towards black media. But then at the same time, these are the same people that want us. Don't criticize Al Heyman. And then let me tell you how cold the PBC is. And I just want to say to Kenneth, fuck you, nigga. With the PBC, fuck you, nigga. So, and what they do is they email their fighters, or they call their fighters and text them, and they tell them, don't talk to this dude, don't talk to that dude, and all that kind of stuff. Now, as you know, I didn't criticize Bob Arum, still got media credentials. I didn't criticize Eddie Hearn to his face, still got media credentials. I didn't criticize, like I said, Oscar still get media credentials. Now I haven't never warned and all that kind of stuff. So they don't take it personal because at the end of the day, they have this mentality: any publicity is good publicity. Where the people, them dudes are so-called black brothers. They go full-fledged Ralph Tresvant sensitivity, and Shakur Stevenson is, like I said, way too emotional. Keyshawn is way too emotional. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm telling you right now, it's something that I'm gonna run through Bill when that fight takes place, because I can tell Devin gonna be able to get Devin gonna have a mental edge over Keyshawn. Keyshawn did show that he had a tendency to possibly self-destruct. And I think the pressure when he fights Devin is gonna all kick in. Yeah, they banned me. Yeah, they banned me. They banned me. They banned Blue Blood. They banned a couple of shit. They kicked Blue Blood out the last fight he tried to cover. And then and then and then I found out that they were there, and then I didn't even do nothing really. But since on, not up, it's on. And that's the funny thing. And that's the funny thing. Like when I cover these fights, like me being, unapologetically black and stuff, and like I said, I don't have nothing against nobody else. But here's the thing. And then they wonder why the Mexicans and the non-blacks get all the pub, because they talk to the media. Why you think David Benavides' popularity blew up, and why he's what you call a media favorite? Because he gives everybody access. Man, Rafael Espinosa can't speak a lick of Rafael Espinosa can't speak a lick of English, and he always gives me interviews. When he sees me, he sends his people over there to get me. He talks to me, everybody. He can't even speak English. He can't speak English. Same thing with the other dudes. I get access to everybody else, and the dudes that act stupid look like me. And then they'll say, "Oh, well, black fighters don't get they don't get the love." Well, you don't show the love back. You don't reciprocate it. So that's the thing. Just keeping it 100. I'm different from these other dudes. But like I said, Devin, yeah. Yeah. Devin doing his thug thizzle. Like I said, you ask me, and be honest with yourself, do you ever see Devin putting on a minstrel show? And Devin try to conduct himself like a professional. And like I said, the thing that bothers me about how Devin is treated, he's treated terribly by a lot of black fighters. I hate this stupid thing with, oh, he's not from the hood or whatever the case may be. Or I am sick and tired of hearing niggas try to define blackness by your upbringing, because it's some dudes that's from the hood, some of the biggest Uncle Toms and Sambos that I ever, and buck dancers that I tap dancers ever seen in my life. I told y'all what Anthony Durrell did to me. Asked this dude for an interview, and he started pouting, talked about he didn't want to do an interview. I'm talking about the nigga literally started pouting about he didn't want to do an interview. He didn't feel like it. And I'm like, okay, well, why are you here, dude? Why are you why are you why are you here? You already know as media, that's our job. Why are you here then? But then he turns around after he starts pouting and throws a temper tantrum, and then I see him talking to media that isn't black. And then these are the same dudes that say that we don't support them. And Floyd do that stuff too. Man, I told Bill, that's funny. I told Bill that he should tell Keyshawn, or do he want asked Keyshawn, do he want him to adopt him? Because Keyshawn seriously got daddy issue. I mean, listen, I mean, Keyshawn, I know you listen to my channel. You know, it's cool, Keyshawn. Listen, if you need a big homie, if you need a big homie, if you need somebody to talk to, man, I'll be your, I'll be your OG, I'll be your I'll be your Uncle Town. You know, real talk. I'll help you out because you definitely don't be conducting yourself like a man sometimes, dude. Just saying. So, well, I'm serious. I mean, Keyshawn needs somebody he can talk because Keyshawn definitely need, man. You can tell Keyshawn definitely needs some guidance. That stupid stuff he be saying, talking about light skin and all that stuff. That stuff is so damn stupid. That like, bro, grow up, man. Grow up, bro. Stop saying that dumb stuff. That stuff is hella offensive. No, I'm serious. I mean, for real, if that's what he, for real, if he need a big unk, I'll talk to him. I could give him some guidance because he definitely misguided and undecided. For real, I'm, I'm, I'm just telling you how it is, though. I don't even like going in on Keyshawn like that. But Keyshawn really been rubbing me the long. he been he been rubbing me the wrong way. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. The only time I used to use that terminology was when if I saw like a red bone sister, like we used to say, "Hey, light skin," but I didn't grow out of that. I didn't grow out of that. After watching Pop the Balloon and seeing 40-year-old women talking about, well, he's a little too light skinned. Like, what? What? Man, you shouldn't even be talking like that. But like I said, in the black community, unfortunately, there's always been this thing, this colorism thing where they used to say, red bone, light, mulatto, mixed black people wasn't tough, and that we didn't. It basically the whole house, the house Negro field Negro thing, because the lighter house Negro got the perks of being in the house with the master and all this stuff. Used to set the table and sometimes eat dinner with master and all that kind of stuff. So some people that mentality carried over, which I think to a certain degree we need to stop. Everybody, every once in a while, we'll make a light skin joke, and like I said, me and Andre Ward had that conversation, and Andre Ward used to hear that stuff. So but like watching pop the balloon, and all that stuff, you'd be like, damn, people still on this tip? Do it matter? Well, Keyshawn need to be explained, like, and you and you would think, and from what I was told, Keyshawn's mother is an educator, like was an educator. So I don't know how true that is. This is what I heard. You would think you know, she would make him aware of stuff like that. But to hear him, when I heard him saying that, and that's what I mean, that's what I'm saying, somebody need to check him on that. Like, cause he sounds stupid, and somebody need to tell him, I tell him right to his face, he sound ridiculous. Like I said, I was looking at some old interviews with Keyshawn. He was such a humble dude. And that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell y'all this, and this is real talk. These fighters, especially the black fighters, they need a PR person really bad. They need a media PR person because these dudes ain't media trained. The only person that's media trained, or at least he get it, is Nico Ali Walsh. But okay, self-explanatory. Shushu is media trained. So he had good people behind him. Keyshawn and Shakur. Mm-mm, mm-mm. These dudes really need to hire media people to help them because they are terrible when they do interviews and stuff. And they need to train them and teach them certain things to say in interviews and stuff. And but one thing about me, y'all should know when I set up an interview, when I have somebody on my channel, what I do is I tell them straight up what we gonna talk about. Now, if they go off the grid, that's on them. Now I am gonna ask them some tough questions, but I'm not gonna blindside them. I don't blindside nobody. So, I don't do that. I tell them straight up what we gonna talk about. Now, if they bring something up, that's on them. But yeah, Shakur, he need media training. Yeah, well, Shushu is media trained though. That's what I'm saying. He know you can look at all my interviews with him. He know what to say, and he know how to conduct the interview and stuff. And he doesn't like to play. He tries to be politically correct. I get it. He try to stay away from controversy. That's fine. That's fine. As long as you don't throw us under the bus or throw our people under the bus like Keyshawn and did and like Shakur, because like I say, Shakur all over the place. Like I said, when Shakur get mad, then when he get mad at the black community, then all of a sudden he black. But when everything going his way, he Puerto Rican. Like, man, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Stop the cap. But yeah, in closing, Shakur just need to just shut it down. Stop. Like I said, it's been a week. And Shakur ain't really posted nothing because he backed into a corner. So now the thing is to be silent and try to troll at everything. Because my thing is, and then when he would be doing interviews, he'd be sounding paranoid. What do I have to go up to 147 because he say so? Like, bro, but you said that you would go to 147 for Conor. I mean, actually, you said you'd go to 154 for Conor Ben. You said you would fight Ryan at 147. Like, bro, come on, man. You all over the place. So he just, I mean, he all over. Listen, man, he all over the place. Like I said, he really is going. He acting like Richard Pryor, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna start calling him Shakur Pryor in a minute. Ah! Snap, crackle. Ah! So, but next up, definitely gonna do the videos talking about it. Listen, even his biggest supporter, even Tim, even Tim Bradley did turned on him. But before I go, if you think I'm joking about Richard Pryor, go Google Living Color Damon Wayans impersonation of Richard Pryor. It was spot on. Peace.